Ejheruchen inek EGYPTONERD mean yuen her ib her medu en kemet. When I talk to people about what I do, they can be quite surprised to find out that the ancient Egyptians didn't speak Arabic. While Arabic is the language of contemporary Egypt, in ancient times this was a language that we simply refer to as Egyptian. So I thought I'd give you folks a very quick introduction to the Egyptian language and even a few ancient Egyptian words. But first, a disclaimer. For most of its life as a spoken language, the writing systems that recorded Egyptian didn't really record vowels, so we don't actually know what it sounded like. When reading out or transcribing Egyptian words, scholars conventionally put e's between the recorded letters, so ncher becomes necher, meaning God. So as long as you're on board with that, let's jump straight in. Egyptian is an Afro-Asiatic language. That means that it's part of a language family with branches in North Africa and the Near and Middle East. Other ancient and contemporary languages in this family include Akkadian, spoken in ancient Mesopotamia, Hebrew, Arabic, Hausa, and others. However, ancient Egyptian doesn't seem to have any close cognates that we can now identify, thus it occupies its own branch of the language tree. Now, the language went through a number of developmental stages. There's Archaic Egyptian, Old Egyptian, think Great Pyramid builders, Middle Egyptian, the so-called classical phase of the language, Late Egyptian, Demotic, and Coptic. While Coptic, the final phase, is no longer a spoken language, it remains the language of ceremony in the Egyptian Christian Church even to this day. The language's grammar evolves and shifts through all these different stages, but here are a few general comments about the way it works, at least in Old, Middle, and Late Egyptian. One of the first things to note is that Egyptian is a gendered language, so it not only has gendered pronouns, but nouns and even whole verbal constructions are grammatically masculine or feminine. You can tell a feminine noun because it ends in a T, so whereas we had necher earlier, meaning God, necheret means goddess. But what if you've got more than one of something? In English, the plural is often indicated by sticking an S on the end, while in Egyptian, a plural is indicated with the oo sound. If it's a masculine noun, then the oo just goes on the end of the word, but if it's a feminine noun, then the oo goes before the final T. So bak or servant becomes baku, while sepat or district becomes sepaut. Now, adjectives in Egyptian don't come before the noun like they do in English, but they come after the noun like they do in French. Not only that, but the form of the adjective has to agree with the gender of the noun that it's attaching to. For example, let's use the word nefer, meaning good, beautiful, perfect, and so on. If you're saying it's a beautiful day, then you'll say it's a heru nefer, because heru is masculine. Whereas if you're talking about a good book, then you'll talk about a mejat neferet. But that's probably enough grammar. Here's some vocab for you. Mer, pyramid. Sah, mummy. Hut necher, temple. There's various terms for Egypt itself, so take your pick from Kemet, Tawi, Tameri, or Idebwi. Nesu, king. Deshret, desert. There wasn't a particular name for the Nile in Egyptian, they just called it the river, or Iteru, because in Egypt there's only one. Pet, sky. Ta, land. Wajwer, sea. It literally means great green, which is kind of cool. And finally, some animals, because it's the internet. Mew, cat. You or you, dog. Apet, bird. Rem, fish. Meseh, crocodile. Abu, elephant. And probably my favorite animal word, memi, giraffe. That's all we have time for, but be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and let me know if you'd like another language video. There are, after all, ancient Egyptian words that survive not only in Egyptian Arabic, but even in English. Until then, I'm your EGYPTONERD, and remember, there's always more to discover.